If you know, you know. There is a smell to a vintage, sealed Wizards of the Coast Pokémon booster pack. It smells like nostalgia. It smells like 1999. And to me, it smells like my retirement fund. I'm a 32-year-old actuary. I'm not a gambler, but I am an investor. For the last 10 years, I have been meticulously curating a collection of sealed vintage product. My crown jewels were 3 sealed base set booster boxes, first edition, sitting alongside a row of individual PSA 10 graded slabs. But the items I was most protective of were the 6 sealed heavy base set packs I had displayed on the top shelf of my glass cabinet. Heavy means they likely contain a holographic card. Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur. Unopened, those packs are worth thousands. Opened, they are a lottery ticket that has already been scratched. The total value of the display cabinet in my home office was roughly $24,000. I kept the cabinet locked. The key was on my keyring, which I usually keep in my pocket. Last Sunday, my Aunt Patty came over for brunch. Patty is oblivious. She's the kind of person who touches artwork in museums. She brought her son, Noah, 8M. Noah is a hands-on learner, which is code for he destroys everything he touches. "Oh, look at the Pokémon." Noah shouted as soon as he saw the office. "I want to play." I stepped in front of the door.
"No, Noah.
These aren't toys. They are collectibles. We don't touch." "He just likes the pictures," Patty said, pushing past me to look. "My God, OP, why do you have so many cards? You should give some to Noah. He's just getting into it." "These are vintage, Patty," I explained, steering them out of the room. "A single pack costs more than a PlayStation. They stay in the case." I closed the office door. I went to the kitchen to make coffee. I made a fatal error. I left my keys on the kitchen island next to the fruit bowl. It took 5 minutes to brew the pot. I was chatting with my mom in the living room. Then I heard a sound. A distinct, crinkling sound. The sound of foil ripping. It wasn't a chip bag. It was heavier, shinier. I stopped mid-sentence. "Where's Noah?" Patty was on the patio, smoking. I ran to the office. The door was open. My keys were dangling from the lock of the display cabinet. I walked in. The floor was littered with silver foil wrappers. The beautiful, pristine Wizards of the Coast logos were torn and crumpled like trash. Noah was sitting cross-legged on the rug. He had opened all 6 heavy packs. He was holding a first edition shadowless Charizard, the Holy Grail. A card that, in Gem Mint 10 condition, could buy a house. He wasn't putting it in a sleeve. He wasn't holding it by the edges. He was bending it back and forth to see the shiny part reflect the light. "Crease, crease, crease. Look." Noah beamed up at me, his fingers greasy from the bacon we had for breakfast. "It's the dragon." I saw a deep, white crease running right through the Charizard's neck. I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. I just stared at the $20,000 of value that had evaporated in the span of 5 minutes, reduced to shiny cardboard in the hands of a sticky child. "Patty!" I screamed. I lunged forward and snatched the Charizard from Noah's greasy hands. I didn't care if I was gentle. I was saving a hostage. "Hey!" Noah whined, reaching for it. I was playing with that. I held the card up to the light. My stomach lurched. The crease wasn't just a surface scratch. The cardstock was bent. The holographic foil was cracked. A fingerprint of bacon grease was smeared across the flame artwork. A card that could have graded a PSA 9 or 10, worth tens of thousands, was now a damaged grade. Worth maybe a few $100 to a budget collector. "What is wrong with you?" Patty stormed into the room, smelling of cigarette smoke. "Why are you screaming at my son?" "Look what he did." I shouted, pointing at the floor. "Patty, look at the floor. Those were sealed packs." "Sealed?" Patty looked at the foil wrappers. She shrugged. "So, he opened them. That's what you do with packs, OP. You open them to get the gum or whatever. Did you get any good ones?" "There is no gum." I yelled. "These are vintage. They haven't been printed since 1999. Patty, these packs were worth $4,000 each." Patty blinked. Then she let out a loud, barking laugh. 4,000. She shook her head, smiling at me like I was a toddler telling a lie. OP, stop it. I buy Pokémon cards for Noah at Target. They are $5. Stop trying to make me feel bad just because you're a hoarder. This isn't Target. I walked over to my computer and woke it up. I frantically typed in eBay. I pulled up the sold listings for first edition base set booster pack heavy. Sold, $4,500. Sold, $5,200. I turned the monitor toward her. Look at the numbers, Patty. He opened 6 of them. That is $24,000 of inventory, gone. And he destroyed the cards inside. Patty glanced at the screen, then rolled her eyes. People on the internet are stupid. That doesn't mean your cards were worth that. Besides, he enjoyed himself. Look how happy he is. Noah was currently using a Blastoise card to scoop up cookie crumbs from the rug. He is bending a Blastoise, I whispered, feeling lightheaded. He is destroying my property. It's paper. Patty snapped, her amusement turning to anger. It is cardboard with cartoons on it. You are a 32-year-old man screaming about cartoons. Grow up. If they are so valuable, you shouldn't have them in a house with children. I had them locked in a cabinet. I argued. You used my keys. You unlocked it. I thought you were being stingy, she admitted without an ounce of shame. I wanted Noah to have fun. Family shares. OP. You have plenty of money. You have a nice job. Stop crying over spilled milk. I am not crying over milk, I said, my voice shaking with cold rage. I am crying over the down payment for a house. You owe me $24,000. Patty gaped at me. I am not paying you 20 grand for paper. You are insane. You are trying to scam your own aunt. She grabbed Noah's hand. Come on, Noah. We are leaving. Your cousin is having a mental breakdown. If you leave, I said, blocking the doorway, I am calling the police. This is destruction of property over a felony limit. Call them. Patty challenged me, pushing past me. Tell the police a little boy bent a playing card. They will laugh in your face. She stormed down the hallway. I heard the front door slam. I sank into my office chair. I looked at the Charizard. I looked at the wrappers. Patty thought the police would laugh. She thought because it was Pokémon, it wasn't a real asset. She thought she could walk away because family forgives. She was about to find out that the legal system doesn't care if an asset is a diamond, a car, or a holographic dragon. If it has value, and you break it, you bought it. I didn't call the police immediately. I knew they would write a report, but they wouldn't understand the nuance of sealed versus opened. I needed ammunition. The next day, I took the day off work. I gathered the wrappers, the damaged cards, and the rest of the collection. I drove 2 hours to the nearest high-end collectible shop that dealt in vintage TCGs. The owner, Dave, nearly cried when he saw the Charizard. It's a tragedy, Dave said, looking at the crease under a magnifying lamp. This is a shadowless first edition. If this were a PSA 10, we are talking 6 figures. Even a 9 is massive. In this condition, it's a raw binder copy. Maybe $400. I paid Dave for a formal, notarized appraisal. He documented the value of the sealed packs based on current market averages, $4,800 each, versus the value of the opened, damaged cards, basically zero. The total loss, $26,400. The sealed packs hold a premium because of the potential inside. Once opened, unless you pull a gem mint card, the value plummets. Noah had pulled the gems, then destroyed them. The legal hammer. I hired a lawyer. We didn't go to small claims court. The limit is too low. We filed a civil suit for property damage and negligence. When the process server handed Patty the papers, she called my mom. My mom called me, sobbing. Up. You sued your aunt? She says you're asking for $26,000. She'll lose her house. She entered my office without permission, I told my mom calmly. She stole my keys. She unlocked a secure cabinet. And she supervised the destruction of my assets. If she had destroyed a car, you wouldn't be asking me to drop it. But it's cards. Mom wailed. It's money, I said. And it's my future. The court date. Patty showed up to the deposition without a lawyer. She thought she could charm her way out of it. She thought she could just tell the judge, "It's Pokémon," and the case would be dismissed. My lawyer presented the evidence. The eBay sales history, the notarized appraisal from Dave, the photos of the lock and the keys. But the nail in the coffin was Paddy's own admission during the deposition. "Did you unlock the cabinet?" my lawyer asked. "Yes," Paddy huffed. He was being a brat about sharing. "So you admit you bypassed a security measure to access property that did not belong to you?" Well, yes. But it was for my son." The judge wasn't amused. The verdict. We eventually settled before trial because Paddy's insurance company got involved. It turns out, her homeowner's liability insurance covered negligence by the insured. When the insurance adjuster realized she had admitted to unlocking the cabinet, intentional act versus accident, they almost denied the claim, but my lawyer managed to frame it as negligent supervision of Noah. The insurance paid me $20,000. Paddy had to pay the remaining $6,400 out of pocket, plus her own legal fees. The aftermath. Paddy had to sell her boat to pay me. She tells everyone at family gatherings that I am a scammer who tricked the legal system. She is banned from my house for life. Noah is 10 now. I heard he wanted a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. Paddy told him they couldn't afford it because your cousin stole our money. I didn't steal their money. I protected Mina. I used the settlement to buy a new, higher-grade fireproof safe. It has a biometric lock. I also bought a single, PSA 10 graded Charizard. It sits in the safe, untouched, unbent, and unseen by sticky fingers. It's not just a card anymore. It's a trophy.